Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with three S's. I'm your host, Chantele Francis, with my co-host for Australian Survivors, Sarah. How are you today?
Hi. I'm okay. I'm excited to talk about these two. These are a doozy of a couple here.
A doozy of a couple. Now, you had prefaced to stay off of social media, so I made sure that I watched these episodes immediately. I didn't see any spoilers for it, absolutely, but I watched them pretty quickly, and I would have been really upset if I had seen these spoilers.
Yeah, no, I'm so grateful I was not spoiled as well. And I was seeing in my Discord with my patrons, they're very good about not spoiling, but they were like, whoa. So I knew something was coming. And then actually Adrian messaged me and was like, do not like whatever you do. And so I wanted to pass that on to you too, because I know how we
Stay off.
accidentally get spoiled. Yeah.
Oh my God. I would not want to have been spoiled for, well, definitely episode 17. Like, that would not be it at all.
No. No.
Woo, but we do have some friends here hanging out with us as we
Yay.
process our emotions and feelings here. I still have kind of a knot in my stomach. I'm really affected by how this is all playing out. Is it still gonna be good? I don't know anymore.
I can't wait to hear your thoughts about it. I'm not nearly as in knots as you are.
You're not really?
No.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, Vicky's anxiously been waiting to hear our thoughts on these two episodes as well. Yes, I agree, Antonio. Yes, sad and need to process. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or process, sorry, for our American friends.
Process.
Yeah, process is what I usually say, but I do my best to say words like that as American as possible, because I don't want for auditioning and stuff like that. I always need to have a neutral American sound.
Yeah.
And so things like process is dead giveaway Canadian. So and sorry. I'm always sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, I love
sorry.
I watch a lot of Hallmark and I just love hearing those stories. I love it.
I'm so sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Very Canadian. Yes. Well, Australian Survivor episode 16. It starts off with shots of Aboriginal people, which I find that beautiful and interesting, but that I also but there's barely any kind of diversity on the actual cast. So I just thought it's just interesting that there's so many little spurts of Aboriginal people, and then there's none of that represented in the actual show. And something just popped out to me. It was longer than usual. You know what I mean? Sometimes it was showing it before maybe an immunity challenge or, a little snippet here and there. But I thought it was a big little snippet, big snippit at the beginning of this episode. And I was like, interesting.
Well, I mean, I didn't notice, but you are not wrong. So,
No. So what did I write here? What would you love to be under here? Oh, okay. So we're going up to, did we go right into the challenge?
Yeah. The first thing I have here is just reward.
Yeah.
We walked right up on the challenge.
And so, Jonathan's asking, what would George love to be under this, I don't know, what are they called?
A cloche.
A cloche. Under the cloche. And George says chicken. What would you have loved to be under the cloche?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would like French fries. French fries are my favorite.
Do you have a place where they have the best French fries?
I mean, unfortunately, McDonald's is the best fast food French fry. So, on days when I'm very depressed, I will swing through that McDonald's for those French fries. But any restaurant really usually has decent French fries. I'm down.
Fries can be I like specific fries. I don't like them when they're too potatoey. I do like a McDonald's fries. I always ask, can I have fresh fries, please? Extra salt. It's very, very
or
good.
Mashed potatoes. Oh my God. Oh my God. I could just dive in a bowl of mashed potatoes. I would love any mashed potato, but they've already had a pasta is probably what I would want especially if I've been starving for a month.
Right. It'll be like comforting and soothing,
Yeah.
and you'll feel like it's not necessarily nutrients filled, but like you just feel satisfied having
Yeah.
some pasta. I
Yeah.
think I'd have to do the taco thing. We were talking before about tacos. I'm like, I just love a good taco. Maybe
It's
some would
so
be soft
fun.
shell, maybe some would be hard shell, maybe some tostadas. I don't know. I'd love some tacos.
I
But
don't know.
George wants chicken. He wants KFC. And that's what they're going to be playing for. The last pair
I
hanging.
love it. I love when any Australian show gets to have KFC. They get
Mhm.
so excited.
So excited.
They get so excited about KFC, and I love their excitement.
Antonio has only had KFC once in his life, and it was in
Mhm.
Prague. Not the biggest
Mm.
fan, as an Italian pasta would be great. Yes.
Yeah, Italian
Um,
pasta, please. Yes.
yes. When I was in Italy, I had lots of pizza and lots of pasta, and I understood why people really enjoy it so much because it was so good. So
Oh,
good.
yeah.
So good.
I mean, Prague KFC does sound fancy because Prague is fancy, but no, we've discussed before. KFC is not yummy.
I mean, I
No,
haven't had KFC in 30 years. I don't know. Maybe it's
that's true.
still.
I have not as well, but it was not yummy 30 years ago.
I remember liking the gravy. I remember liking. This is what might gross you out, the chicken skin, because it was really crispy and like back then, I did like when they had these little popcorn chicken things. I liked that, and I had like a love hate with the macaroni salad.
Mhm.
But it was never be like the fast food place that I would necessarily go to. I feel like it
No.
happened at like a picnic. Someone brought a bucket of KFC with like, you know,
Yeah.
all the fixings.
No, their mashed potatoes are awful. I would not dive into a bowl of mashed potatoes. Their coleslaw is not even good. And like these are the things I would eat.
Right.
So I can't share in this, but in Australia, boy, they love it. They
Well,
got
not
different recipes down there.
maybe. Well, no, but isn't it like the 17 different ingredients or something in the?
Yeah, but in Australia, they like switch up those 17 ingredients.
Okay,
I
maybe
don't
we
know.
need to
I don't
try
know.
it over there because like they love George
Thrilled.
loves this so much. So the pairs are going to be Haley and George are going to be paired up onto this like big wooden post. So we've seen kind of like different variations of this challenge. It's usually been solo. I've never seen them do
Yeah.
a tandem challenge like this where they're kind of on these small little pegs and at different intervals they have to move down to less support on the
Right.
pegs for their feet. And so
I like this twist, especially for a reward,
Mhm.
because you're dependent on your partner. If your partner can't do it, you're out.
Yep, absolutely. So Haley and George are together, Shawnee and Jerry, Liz and Matt, Sean and Sam, Simon and Nina.
Did you hear Liz when they remove the cloche and it's KFC? Did you hear her go, I can smell it?
No.
She delivers us such good tourist content. I can't.
Taurus, like
She's so good.
if anybody wants to know what a Taurus characteristics are, like Liz
It's
and
Liz.
Shawnee have been, well, Liz for sure, but yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Their senses are off the chart. That's why they're foodies. We're going to talk about it in the next episode. We're going to see them eating rice. Like they're foodies because they love taste. They can smell so well. They love touching, like all the
Texture,
senses.
yes,
Taurus
feelings, yeah,
love
sensual,
it.
sensory, like
Yeah.
tactile, yeah, 100%. It's so funny, like my brother's a Taurus, and so like he just likes textures of like blankets and material. Like he's always just
Yes.
loved like blankets, you know. And I was like,
Mhm.
it's just such a weird thing to just like, in my opinion, just
So
to like
soft.
always
Yeah.
wants to like a soft, cozy, squishy blanket, and I'm like, what do you want a blanket for? But it's because he's a Taurus. He
The
likes
touch,
that
yeah.
sense of touch here. So it doesn't really take long for people to start falling. After
No.
8.5 minutes, Sean and Sam are done. We can expect them to be done. They have big feet, big muscles, small pegs,
Mhm.
not really going to allow them to last very long. Oh, but before that, though, Simon and Nina do get a ladder and come down right before
Yeah.
Sean and Sam.
Yes. So between 6 to 8 minutes,
Right.
all of the big dudes are out.
Yeah, I was looking at my notes. So I'm like, I don't remember what this. It looks like I wrote lacquer of safety, and I'm like, I don't understand what I mean. I'll
Ladder.
skip that, and then I'm like, oh, that's what I wrote. Ladder for safety.
Yeah.
Totally get my notes now. So yeah, all that muscle completely useless, says Jonathan,
Yep.
which is nice, right?
Yes.
It's just nice to.
We like to mix it up. We like to
Yes.
see a challenge where, someone smaller might win, someone older might win, a female might win. Yeah.
Someone unexpected. So we hear on the sidelines, those three girls will win every endurance. I think Sean was saying this, and I was like, this is true, but I find it interesting now that Sean's like seeing the women as a threat, because we haven't really heard him voice anybody else really being a threat for any of these individual challenges.
Right.
He hasn't really said anything. But then Liz and Matt drop. I was surprised. I thought that they would be able to stay a little bit longer, but
well, they go down a peg at this point. So they did 15 minutes. They go down a peg. Then it's on that one where Liz is like,
I can't do this.
No, but I did know that she didn't need a ladder.
Yeah, she jumped down.
She's like, I'm jumping.
I didn't write it down, but I thought it. I was like, Liz is a badass for sure. Jerry, unfortunately, is unable to hang on here. So him itself and Shawnee end up dropping. And that means that George and Haley are going to win this one. George needed the power of KFC to win an dual in tandem individual challenge.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely had that motivation. He was hanging on there, but he also had the luck of having Haley, who we knew was not going to drop down at all. So good for them. Yay.
So Antonio says that George was lucky to be paired with Haley. Otherwise, he would not have won. I think he would have won potentially with Shawnee. Right? Because it was Jerry that kind of came down at that point, and Shawnee just kind of went with it.
Shawnee was doing really well. So yeah, if he had been paired with Shawnee, for sure. Obviously, if he had been paired with one of the big dudes, no, that wasn't going to work.
Nope. Ooh, I like this. Antonio wants a U.S. versus Australian season. Parvati paired with Haley. That would be very interesting to see some of these legendary women competing in a season together.
And I wonder how Nina would have done with like a George or somebody who could hang on a little bit longer.
Absolutely. So we see, after we're closing out to the commercial break, that Sam thinks that now is the perfect time to strike. It's been also for a while. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, agreed. Sure, now, okay. Every time, just say now. But they get to pick, and they bring Jerry and Shawnee with them for the reward.
And I didn't expect them to take anybody else. Did you have any thoughts that they would have?
Only if no, not really. I mean, they get to play it off as a good excuse of like the second team that lasted as long. I was like, maybe they bring Liz and Matt, but no, probably Shawnee.
Yeah, it's easier for people to not be upset or think that it's like more strategic. Yeah. It's like, nope, they were fairly close to us. They lasted a really long time. We want to bring them too. So
yeah, love that.
Yeah, I definitely didn't expect anything different. So at the reward feast, Shawnee was being her Taurus self. She wanted to eat very civilized. She was using a knife and fork to have this delicious KFC meal. And they're all really, really enjoying this. And then they got to go swimming. And like, it was really beautiful where they were swimming and jumping off this little dock. I thought this was a pretty good reward. Like, I don't care for KFC, but I thought the reward in general was quite nice. Were you surprised that there didn't seem to be an advantage of some sort?
Yeah, I mean, I never know if someone just didn't see it and we missed it. But I was more surprised that nothing really comes out of this. Yes, it was I think getting to step to a different location and have silverware, like just setting a new environment probably is good for the soul, and you get some nourishment. And then they get to swim together in this beautiful location. They're basically just confirming their alliance at this time and having a bonding moment. But I was kind of surprised we didn't get a nugget of what was coming up strategically. Since we have some strategic people here.
I think they might have withheld that from us because we do get the soundbite of Shawnee saying, "Oh, I trust Liz. Liz will hold down the fort over back at camp." And then we go over to Liz holding down the fort by having a nap. And while she's having the nap, that's when Sean, Simon, and Nina are all talking. And, they want to find an idol now. And so an idol hunt is going to be happening. There's a lot of
And
idols going on.
I wrote, cut to Liz not holding down the fort. Lol.
That's exactly what she's like snoring like on this hammock while things are happening.
Right. Well, when we first see Sean, so Sean, Simon, Nina is who we first see here. And Sean's like, hey, Simon, like what if we had an idol? Like, what if there was an idol in play? Like, would you, like they're going to have to split the vote. We could put our votes on George. Like, it's the biggest move of the game. We kind of see Sean like planting those seeds. And then at some point he's like, oh, by the way, I already have one.
I have one.
Okay,
like
they're like, from when and where? And he's like,
doesn't matter.
Yeah. Do you need to know? No.
It doesn't matter. And Nina was just like, yeah, right. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But and then Sean obviously pitches George and like Simon's eyes just twinkle. It's just like, it's so basic. Like you can get Simon roped into your plan so easily if you are Sean. Like, you just
yeah. Like, hey, oh my gosh.
Do you want to work with me?
Yeah. And in a minute, it's about to get worse.
Well, so they are going. Nina's so excited that he held on for 22 days, right? Is that what? Yeah, that's what they were talking about.
Yeah. So the next conversation, Sean's like, "Is it a record? I held on to it for 22 days." Like he's giving Simon all of the intel. It was the pizza one. It was Sam's. Blah 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 blah. And of course, Simon's like, "Oh man, oh man." Oh my God. Then Sean says the magic words, and he's like, "You and I." And Simon literally was like, "I'll be your number one." And Sean was like, "Yeah." And then Simon was like, "Oh yeah, yes."
I can't. It's so funny. And so you see Simon like a pig in poop in his confessional being like, "I came to create some chaos and chaos shall be had." I'm like,
oh my God, you guys, I still love Simon's edit. Like, this is amazing.
So it should be good.
He was like so set in that alliance. And then Sean's like, "You want to be my number one?" And he's like, "Yes, I'm on board. I love you so much."
And it's like, and he's like, "I have an idol, so we can make it happen." He's just like ready to jump ship, ready to go. The Vigilantes, though, after talking cruise ships, and like I actually do like how this has been kind of like the running analogy or whatever you want to call it, anecdote. I really like this cruise ship. I think that's what like Jeff in the US is always trying to go for, having these like but it really is working for me, this cruise ship. Right. I'm enjoying it. I want to be on board.
Yeah.
I want to be on board. I don't want to need a life vest or be swimming trying to catch up to the boat. Like I want to be on that boat drinking a margarita.
Yeah, I don't want to be off this boat. No, for sure.
So what do you think about George telling Haley about the $60,000 just to see if it comes back around? Because he's just kind of testing Haley a little bit.
Yeah, I find it interesting here that we kind of hear from George that he would love to sit next to Haley and take the crown. Like that's the perfect picture to him. And I love revealing a little bit of info. If I could find one nugget to tell everybody and then just see what nugget gets out, and then I know who not to try. I love that. That's amazing. Does he need to test Haley? We don't know, but we're assuming so, since we're getting this in the edit. You have to imagine it's coming back to us.
Absolutely. Like we wouldn't see it if it wasn't going to be useful.
Exactly. But I do love that he knows it needs to be kept a secret. And it's also good for Haley to be like, oh, he's giving me information. I mean, she's smart enough to know what that means, but we'll see
Well,
how it plays
she
out.
doesn't know that he's kind of testing her, but she knows that he wants to go to the end with her. And like that's I mean, for me, I would think that she would like just fall into that and just be like, let's just get to the end together because we kind of need each other just to take out. We're just the two biggest threats. We kind of need each other because as soon as one of us is gone, definitely it's going to be easy for everybody to just like turn and just take the other one out. Like
Yeah.
it just really is. Even if it seems like you have all the power, making that big move, like people will be like, well, now that one's out, let's get rid of the other. Like it makes it
Mhm.
super easy. So I think that she should maybe kind of just think about the fact that she kind of does need him in the game a little bit. I don't think it was that risky to tell her because he's already the biggest threat in the game right now. Like,
Well,
what would you think the risk?
I mean, it's
Biggest,
always risky to tell people, anybody, anything. I agree.
Mhm.
Information is gold out there, but I do like the way he did it. I do like the way that he told one person, it's Haley. You know, it does make her feel a bit bonded to him. And if it gets out, he knows exactly where it came from.
Right, exactly. So Haley and Sam are having a conversation, and Haley tells Sam that he can trust her, and that there's a lot of people that could beat her in this game in the end, and alluding to George, and Sam is picking up on it and understanding what she's saying, and in Taylor's confessional, she's even saying that George has really improved his game. His social game has improved since his last time around. So she actually is feeling threatened by the game that George is playing. And she's giving Sam these little nuggets here and these conversations that maybe George would be somebody that she doesn't necessarily want in this game. What do you think about her little convo here with Sam?
I have to go back and say one thing real quick.
Yeah.
Even though he's testing Haley, or at least he's telling us that he's testing Haley, Liz and Shawnee have this information as well. So
Mhm.
it's not a guarantee that it came from Haley, but if he hears that Haley said it, he can
Right.
assume it's
Right.
true.
Mhm.
But okay, I like this move from Sam. I mean, he has to do this. He has to let anyone and everyone that is decent, that the door is open. That's very, very important. And I was really analyzing what Haley was saying about George's social game because it's on one hand, it's true, right? Like he has sharpened up his game the second time around. Like he has made some fixes, which everyone has to do the second time they come play. And unfortunately, Simon can't. But like George is making fixes. I don't personally agree. At least, I mean, all I'm seeing is the edit. I'm not there on the beach with them, but like his social game still isn't great. He's
Right.
definitely adjusted it, but like I question, like, is it good enough? I don't know. And the way that she's phrasing it, though, to other people is, we know that if you say something,
It
then
becomes
that
true.
becomes true no matter what. If I say that person has a stellar social game now, they win against anyone at the end, that is now the fear everyone has. So
Absolutely.
whether it's true or not, she's telling people George is even better than he was last time. And
Mhm.
that's a seed that she's planting. Like,
But what's interesting too about this seed that she's planting is that it actually might come back to haunt her because like if people start believing that he's unbeatable and he does end up getting to the end, all these people will start being like, well, he's unbeatable, he got to the end, we're going to give him his votes. Like now you'd have to convince me how he wasn't. So
mhm.
yes, like she needs to get him out now for it not to backfire on her, but if it gets to the end, it makes it a little bit easier for him to get that win because if Haley, one of the best players to ever play, is saying that he has improved his game and he's like an excellent player and he's a great mastermind and like he's doing an excellent job this season, we got to get him out. If he stays
Yeah.
in the game, I think that it's very possible that these people might be convinced more easily to give them the votes, but more than
She
you were before. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, agreed. But like she can't sit next to George,
No,
period.
she will lose
She
against George for
can't.
sure.
She's she already struggles to sit at the end and win because why vote someone to win a second time, right? Like that's already
Not for this game right now.
she has to sit next to a Simon or maybe a Jerry, like Jerry's story could still beat her. Like there are so few possibilities of people she can sit next to. So it's worth the risk of the blowback because she can't sit next to George anyway. So put it out there, you
Yeah,
know?
but I mean, who could she say? The problem is though that I was oh, actually, I'll talk about that later. But like, I feel as though people that are going to be in the jury, a lot of them are going to be very influential on how this vote goes, and
Mhm.
so I really actually don't think that she can win right now against most people. I don't even think the heroes like are going to be voting for her, sitting against to another hero. Like I think that she's sitting next
Right.
to Nina. She's not winning. Sitting next to Jerry, maybe, but I don't think so because I think that if George is in the jury, he wouldn't vote for her, or he would convince people that Jerry was like more integral in the whole season.
Oh yeah.
Same with Matt, even making that big move, calling it
Yeah.
vigilantes. Like I feel like the people that will be in the jury will be very influential against her. And so yeah, I think she has a very steep hill to climb if she wants to
Yeah.
get the W in the end. I don't even know I don't know how she could do it.
I think she can beat Nina and I think she can beat Simon. And I think that's it
Simon,
right now.
maybe. Nina?
She
I
hasn't
don't
done anything until this second.
sure. Yeah.
So sorry, unfortunately, for
That's
all of
true.
us who love her.
I know. It's because she got on the heroes tribe. If she was on
This
the
is
villains tribe, she would probably been having more fun and been more like involved, right?
this whole episode, I was like, oh my God, Nina. Oh my God, Nina. Like this was heartbreaking for people who care about
Oh my
Nina.
God. Yeah. What's to come?
Yeah.
But Haley, we hear her say that if Nina, Sean, or Sam win immunity, she may make a big move. So I was thinking, I'm like, okay.
Haley?
Yes. Did I say Nina?
No. I
Oh.
think I missed it.
Um,
Yeah, and she said what I wrote down is she thinks she can make a move without George knowing. And I was like, oh gosh. Wait, what? No one can make a move without George knowing. Like that's a tough thing to do. And
Yes.
so I was like, oh boy, where are we headed with this?
Yes. So we're headed to immunity right now. And so they're going to have to eventually spell heroes versus villains. Doing one of these, we've seen variations of this puzzle where they have like an uneven surface. They had to put block letters down, walk. I think there's a rope that they had to walk back, keeping it stable, going back and forth, spelling out heroes versus villains. Tricky, but it's something that a lot of people could potentially be decent at.
Yeah.
But someone is really good at this one. Who did you think it was going to be so good at this one, Miss Sarah?
I mean, I was shocked that it was Simon. I really thought, this helps a Haley, maybe a Liz. But like you said, though, anyone can pull this off. But Haley's done it before, and I think she won it last time. I'm probably wrong.
Throwing it because she wanted to potentially make a big move, and hopefully Nina, Sean, or somebody other than maybe like George or Liz, Shawnee. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't remember. I didn't really watch her game. I'm just thinking of it right now.
Yeah, I mean, God, I hope she's not throwing things at this point. Please be safe. But maybe it was just different because this one wasn't a stack like it usually is. This one was across. It was still a wobbly thing. But like Sean loses a bunch. He was doing well, and then Haley's doing well, and she loses a bunch, and then Simon just really like he got. I want to say lucky, but like he just really understood the tension because when he did drop a couple, it was just a couple, and you're allowed to pick those back up. If you drop them all, you start over. But he like did such a great job. Like, good job, Simon.
He was really good, and I was like, oh, come on.
He's finally winning something.
He's winning. I mean, good for him. Of course, like these
Good
are like
job.
things that are going to make him feel great, and like that he's probably like on his bucket list. So like Simon as a human being, the person, like absolutely amazing. But in this game, I'm like, damn it, I wanted almost anybody but Simon and Sean to win. Like I would have loved Nina to even have won. You know what I mean? But like,
oh yeah,
I'm just kind of tired of like the big guys winning things. You know what I mean? You know?
I love that.
Well, but you know what I'm not tired of? The fact that Simon gives a hug jump to Sean after this. Like they're dating.
Like this is why we love Simon, is because he does something incredible, like win immunity, and then ruins his game by hugging the other side. What are you doing, sir?
Don't know
Like,
what he's doing.
use your brain just like once in a while. Like, what?
And George immediately clocks this. He's like, oh, it's very interesting when people win, seeing who they congratulate or like they shake hands with or hug or whatever, who they're interacting with after they win something. And he hugged all the people that he was supposed to be against.
I would run and hug George every single time. I don't care what my relationships are. George is getting my number one attention. That's your job, right? Cater to George.
Cater to George. Like
he's the kingpin. You just got to do it.
Ryan saying that comment by George made me think of Boston Rob. How sleeping beside each other in the shelter really dictates like relationship.
Is that what he said?
I think that's what Boston Rob had said.
I mean, I would absolutely be paying attention to who cuddles in the shelter.
Who cuddles, who talks, who people are making jokes with.
Who bathes together. I mean, I'm alluding to the next episode, but like, hello, this is not a surprise when you see two people together all of the time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially if you have a bigger group of people. When you see little things kind of branching off, it's definitely want to clue into that because you're not a part of it.
Yeah.
So, of course, now that he has immunity and he has his friends and Sean, he wants to take down the king. And he gets to be the swing vote. He's so excited. He gets to be the swing vote.
Well, again, he's going to ruin his game here. So the Vigilantes are talking first. We see that. And Simon does throw out that Sam isn't a threat when they're deciding, like, of these three, Sam, Nina, Sean. Simon's the one that says Sam isn't a threat. They say, okay, we'll do 4 on one, 3 on the other. And then Simon says, oh, can I be on that 4 one then?
Yeah. Yeah. And George is like, got him. Got him. Yes. He wants to be on the minority of the split vote.
Sammy, your acting is so bad. Look, now George is so good at this. And if he's got an eye on you, he's going to read into everything you do. So I'm not sure that there was any way for Simon to actually get out of this. But I was like, Simon, say,
whoever you want me to vote for, I'm fine with. Like, that's what you have to do, and then just hope that you will be able to do something with it. You know,
I would have said, okay, should we do 4 guys on Nina and the 3 girls? Like, make a suggestion. So because that's the normal way people talk, right? They're like, how should we split it? And a lot of times they split it guys on girls. So just like look for the way that you could be on that majority.
Yeah, on the majority, but still hidden with your true motivation. Absolutely.
Right. Not pause and go,
like, so can I be the person that decides where I'm voting?
You, Nina? Like, oh my God, you look so suspicious. Okay.
Oh, Simon. I mean, Simon.
All right. So he's caught. Now George is on his tail.
He's like, let's change the vote then. Like, let's completely change the vote, which is what you are going to do when you don't trust somebody that you're working with. And that's what Simon really, really did, is like he allowed the people that he's working with to not trust his vote. And that puts you in a really, I think, really bad situation. He's lucky that he has immunity here because people could have been very easy to be like, let's just get rid of him right now.
Yeah, I think that might have been likely if he wasn't safe. They might have switched to him. But, you know, true to George, he's going to do exactly like the best strategic move here. And it seemingly happens fast, which is just so impressive on how George's brain works when he's just like, nope, boom, this is what we do. Everyone's like, what? But of course on board, but they're like, what? Simon, what?
Yeah, I mean, I love the fact that George is able to pivot so
Yeah.
quickly,
Oh,
and
so
that's kind of
good.
what's been really impressive about all of his moves, and like, because I'd be so worried with dictating big switches like that people would get spooked, and I guess people are probably used to the frenetic energy of George, but like they see that when he makes a call, it's usually correct, and so I think that they also have that trust for the most part. So I love when he's just like, no, we're switching the plan. We're changing the vote. We're not letting him
Yeah.
have that
And
position.
as an alliance member, it makes sense, right? If you're like, "Oh crap, Simon's not actually going to vote with us. Something fishy's going on." Okay, yeah, that is the smart thing to do.
Hmm.
Cancel what was just said. We put all of our votes on one, but Simon doesn't know his intel is going to be wrong to the other side.
Hmm.
It's the smart play.
And then we see that Haley wants to look out for herself, and she has a conversation with Nina in the hammock. And Haley tells Nina that she's going to be here tomorrow. And they start. I mean, she's putting the seeds in with Nina. Nina's kind of understanding what she's putting down. What are you thinking about this, Miss Sarah?
Well, I wanted to know, I have thoughts, but
Hmm.
what did you think about Haley and talking to Nina here?
I think that Haley was trying to mend fences to a certain degree. Like, I'm
Mhm.
sure she still has at the back of her mind that there was a time where Nina was gonna take her out, and that she was kind of warning Nina, rightly so. And I think that she Haley wanted to, if something went down, I think Haley wanted Nina to know that it was because of her help, and so that Nina would want to work with her after
Mm.
something went down.
Yeah. I mean, you've made this point before, like, build those social bonds.
Before something happens.
Yes, have those conversations. And so I guess that this was smart for her to try to do with Haley or with Nina.
Mhm.
But as soon as I saw them in the hammock, I was like, Haley, no. Haley, why are you talking to Nina? Like, what? Like, this is so dangerous to
Oh, Jane, like
try.
George, like, sees them, you mean? Like, that kinda thing? Or Jane
Well,
just,
but
like,
in my
information?
head, Nina still doesn't wanna work with Haley, right? So
Right.
I think, Sam had put out an olive branch. We already know her past with Shawn. Like, of
Mm,
the 3, Nina would be the last one that I think Haley should talk to. It just made me nervous. But it did seem like at first the conversation was going really well. They're talking. Nina says, "I'd vote for George to win." Haley's planting her seeds, getting information from
mhm.
Nina. This is interesting information to hear. And then the way that Haley delivers information, I thought was gorgeous.
You're like, "Oh, there's my girl. She's
I was
back."
like, yeah, this is the way to flip a vote, to change things, to go against George, but without actually going against George, right? Like,
Mhm.
not directing some big blind side. You are just subtly giving information, and I was impressed with that move, but also should I say this now or
Yeah,
later? But
just right
I
now. Mhm.
also was confused on why it was Nina and not Sam or Shawn. But
I'm wondering if it's sh because of the fact that Nina was maybe, I don't know, well, you know what? You're right.
it might have just truly been an organic conversation. She sat down with Nina, they started chatting, and then in the moment, Haley was like, because you could kind of see the flip when Nina was like, well, if so, should the guys play an idol? Haley goes, "Wait, is there one?" So I think
Right.
she truly, it's not like she orchestrated this. She truly just got information that there's probably an idol on the other
Mhm.
side. And so in that moment, organically, she was like, well, then Sam would be the one, who needs that. So I get that.
So what I think is interesting, so I guess like alongside with what you were kind of thinking, being like, is this the right person to say anything? When Nina does bring that information back to Shawn and Sam, Sam doesn't even believe it. Sam
Yes.
thinks that Haley was using this as an opportunity to mislead them, misguide them, and make them play an idol incorrectly. So whatever you were picking up at why Nina, also it went against her, basically. Like,
Yeah.
she did choose the wrong person to maybe go and tell this, because I do think if she told Sam directly, especially because she already kind of volleyed, or she already kind of laid the groundwork beforehand about talking about how we need to get out George, being like, okay, coming in a little bit later, like, and kind of just layer onto the plan, I think that he might have believed it a little bit more. But it coming from Nina now, it's kind of like, broken telephone a little bit. Like, why are you telling Nina? I don't know if I trust it.
Yeah, I mean, I have to remember that an edit is presented to us, but
True.
in this edit, we got Sam saying a door's open. And so mm, so I want Haley to go back and say, okay, you said a door's open. I care about you. I just want you to know, like, I can't flip, but like, if there's an idol, play it on
Play it.
yourself and walk off. Very subtly, just like the whole Nina thing. Like, I just want you to know. And then he would probably have believed her
Mm-hmm.
if it was phrased in that way. But
Mm-hmm.
again, maybe there are all these other conversations that we just don't see. And so Haley didn't have the time, and she knows better. She knows you can't scramble. You can't pull everyone off one-on-one. So she chose to go safely with, I've dropped the hint and I have to back away. But that leaves Sean and Sam like, wait, but what?
Do you know what? I'm wondering, because Nick here is reminding me that maybe, yes, maybe that's what maybe spooked Sam, and like, oh, but what if Haley got wind that we were trying to, because like Liz went over, like all people would have some information potentially, and
Yeah.
so maybe they're feeling guilty about the fact that, like, oh, we were trying to take her out, like now she's helping us. I wonder if she's just trying to get her revenge. So that could be why he doesn't trust it, because he feels guilty, or like he knows that he did something bad to her that she could want to get revenge on.
Right. And the last thing Sean knows is that he was like, Haley, I thought we were a thing. And she was like, I'm good. So like, why do they trust you?
Right.
She did need to do like one more combo.
Yes, with somebody,
Yeah.
like I know she was kind of separating herself from Sean, but like they were talking a lot more before this new thing, and just being like, hey, like I'm gonna have to be a bit of a mole here right now. Like I can't
Yeah.
jeopardize my position in this tribe and getting information, but this is what I'm going to give you, but I'm voting with them. And if she'd said that to Sean, even, I think that Sean would have been able to play the idol correct, or do things correctly, and share information correctly with Sam, and I might have worked out a little bit differently, but they decided to go on an idol hunt.
Yes.
Of course.
Great. Do it. The more the merrier. Get an idol or two.
Get an idol or two, and it happens. Miss Nina finds an idol. Was it the same idol that
Yes.
Flick missed? It was.
Yes. Because we see Sam go to that same crooked tree that Flick did, and he even looked closer than Flick did. He passes and doesn't see it, and then Nina just like walks up and sees it. Good job, Nina. Lord have mercy.
How were
2
you
other
feeling?
people.
Were you like, oh my god, is George
Yes.
going home? Like, this is insane.
Well, I was like, this is incredible that they actually have the tools. They have 2 idols. They have the information. Like, you have it. Do not mess this up.
Yeah, you have a 68% chance of getting it correctly if you guess, and you got intel from somebody. Whether you believe it or not, you gotta play it on that person that the intel was there, and then one of the other 2 people, right? Like that's kind of what you have to do, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. Yeah, I wasn't sold that George was leaving, and I wasn't sold that he wasn't leaving at this point. But I was like, wow, this is great. I loved the way Haley did her thing. They've got 2 idols. I was like, holy moly, here we go. What's gonna happen?
Yeah, I was a little bit worried here, because I was
For
like,
George?
yeah, because I was like, they have the information, and I know that they did just say that like Sam doesn't believe it, but I'm like, but if you have 2 idols and they're thinking like, yeah, we might have to play both of them.
Yeah.
You at least have to play it on the person that somebody gave you intel about. Like whether it's true or not, you got to take that risk, right? Because
Oh, well, yeah. I think.
If you have 2 idols, at least
Yeah.
play one of the person that because like, if they're doing, like, reverse psychology, reverse back, like, like, trying to figure out, like, whether you're gonna play it or not play it, if they tell you they're gonna play it, like, then you play it on yourself, because if they were trying to trick you, they would do this anyways, right? So, yeah, it was just I was like, they're gonna play for Sam for sure, because there's no reason not to.
Yeah, you think you got it. You got all the information, do it. And I was also so excited that they were going to vote George, because that's my problem before. They like want to make a big move and they're going to get Matt out. Yeah. And I'm like, get over it. Get George out. I was like, okay, good. You guys are on the right path. You've got this. Let's go.
So we get to tribal. And JLP loves talking about the good ship Vigilante.
He loves that ship.
Loves that ship. I love this ship. So good. So good. I want, like,
but you know what?
Probably merch.
Yeah. If you jump ship, we're going to feed you to the sharks.
Yep. That's what Jerry's going to say. That's Jerry there for you. And then George kind of threatens his jury vote. I was like, whoa, spicy. If you're gonna screw me over, like, I'll screw you back over with my vote. Do you think that he will be a bitter juror?
Yes, of course. This is like, George is psychotic with this kind of stuff. Like, oh my gosh. I thought that it was, I just think it's just so George to be like, I'm not going to vote for you if you jump ship. And you just look at everyone's faces and you just have to be like, this is why we're not voting for you, George. Like, these kind of comments.
Well, the other comment that he makes, and I'm just like, and like, you could see like the tension. Like, I was really in this tension here in this tribal, because like I wasn't 100% sure if George was going to suss something out, or like if I just wasn't sure what's going to happen. But they had so much power and so much information that I was like, man, they really can't really screw this up. Like, he might be going unless he figures something out. I'm like, what's going to happen here? And you hear him saying like, oh, it's too late to make your first big move. It's day 33. Like, where were you 2 weeks ago, or whatever he said?
Yeah.
And like, they're just sitting there, like, knowing that they're probably going to be taking out George, or writing his name down. They have 2 idols. They're going to take out George. And Nina, though, she kind of pipes in and thinking that it's never too late to make a move, as long as it's a big one. And so that's true. Someone here in the chat was saying that Nina doesn't really have a great poker face, and I'm going to have to agree with that.
This episode and the next episode, I was like, girl, your face.
She really, really, really needs
She does a lot of I'm like, stop smiling, Nina. Stop
smiling. Like, I can't. I mean, maybe
fearful for your life.
Yeah,
right,
like you're supposed to be going home. You're supposed to be going home.
She says the right things. Like, she's good at covering and lying, and her saying, anytime's the best time is true to her game. Like, because she hasn't made a big move, so she should say something like that. Sean says the opposite. He's like, where have you been this whole time? Which is a great thing for Sean to be like, George, you're not the only one who's been making moves. Like, there are other people who have made moves, and if we nail you right now, our moves look better, is what he's saying.
Absolutely. George does, like, he speaks about the fact that he reads body language, and at the poker table, this is how he wins poker. And he uses that vote to really suss out a vote, which and like, so all of this is happening. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, this would be how he would go out, like, being so confident and speaking this way, and then just getting wiped out like that. I was like, this really could be a George blindside. And I was like, I was,
it would have been amazing.
Sweating, because I was just like, I don't want someone to get the pie in their face like that bad. Like, it's just, I know you do.
If it were Simon, you'd be like, I love it, pie in the face.
That's true, but it's true. I guess, like, when it's like a person that's a strategist, a person that, like, I respect their game. I do respect, like, his body language, like, assessments and all that stuff. So I'm like,
I hope George goes out completely.
It has. Well, that's the only way that he can go out.
On his face.
That's the only way it can happen, right? Like, it's going to be.
He has to be so confident, and then it goes in his face.
That's what's going to happen. It's just going to be it's going to be so hard to watch. It was kind of like, remember how, like, we were, like, hit and miss on, like, how we wanted the cookie idol to come into play? Like, at first I was like, oh my God, it's too much. And then I kind of I kind of let it sink into it, and like
Yeah.
I needed to see it. It's
Yeah.
kind of like that for me right now. Like, oh, that's gonna be really painful.
Yeah.
And
You
then
got a
I'll get
practice
into it.
run with this one. Yeah.
I did get a practice run with this one. So we do hear Sam saying, like, oh, I read body language too. And he's like, the body language over here seems that doesn't seem like people are on the same page. And I'm like,
Mhm.
also, why are you saying that, Sam? Because
Yeah.
like if they have any sort of they could easily switch the plan up and it could be you if it wasn't, or you know what I mean? Like, I just don't know why he's kind of placing any sort of doubt on that side, because George pipes back and he's like, well, who's not on the same page?
Yeah,
And
tell us. Yeah, who is it? Yeah.
who's on the same page?
I was like, at this point, I was like, are you good at body language, Sam? That's a good question. And then just, 5 minutes later, he's gonna prove to me that he is very good at reading body language, actually.
Because yes, it is. Oh well, Shawnee does say though, like, but we have 7. Like,
Yeah,
she's very confident in her 7.
we
Like,
have
that's
7.
what her body language is saying, is that we got 7, you got 3. Like, this is
What are we
just
gonna do?
this is
Yeah.
this is what my body language is saying. We got 7.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it is time to vote. And when Haley goes up and votes, she says, I threw a message in a bottle to Sam. Hope that he got it.
Yeah. Like, you can kind of see that Haley's like, oh, I'm playing
Yeah.
Survivor. Like,
Yeah. Like, she's nervous, excited. Like,
yeah. She's letting them all do their little volleys during tribal,
mhm.
but she's like, I actually planted the seed. So let's go. Let's get to this vote. She's like,
Ugh. So everybody else votes. I kind of skipped over that part. But like, obviously everybody goes up to
we
the
see Haley, Matt, and Jerry all vote for Sam. So we know that that's in stone. And we see Simon write George. So we know that that's still in
yeah,
stone.
we kind of assumed that. I wasn't sure if Haley was going to jump ship or not,
Mhm.
and be part of that, and then I was like, oh, but like she wants to keep her cover, so like
Yes,
absolutely, like
this
absolutely,
is perfect cover. Again, well done, Haley.
yes,
You did it.
you did everything that you needed to do, everything that you needed to do.
And
So
then
yes, you go do it. Give it to
no,
me. What happened?
I
It's time to read the vote, Sarah.
yes, I'm here. I'm with Haley. Like, I see her little like light in her eyes
Mhm.
of how this is gonna go down.
So,
And
does
he
anybody
John,
have a hidden immunity idol?
you know what? Actually, Nina does, you guys.
Ooh,
But we
ooh,
hear
ooh.
Sean and Nina have a little convo where Sean says, I think you should play it for yourself. And then she says, I've always wanted to. I mean, I've never found one before. Like, that's exciting, right? And she gets up. So I put a lot of blame on Sam for this. She gets up and she plays it for herself. And you guys, Haley's face drops. Haley's advice back to Haley: get your face better. Except I love it. So don't get your face better. When Nina played it for herself, she's like, what?
And then Sean stands up.
Oh, and George is like commentating the whole time.
But
'cause
I
he
think
does
George
that.
got nervous there. When he's like,
Oh, you too, Sean.
You have an idol. Oh.
Now Sam plays the game. Now Sam shows up and starts to read body language, and now he's terrified.
He's like, play it for me. Sean, don't play it for me. Play it for me. And Sean's like, Sophie's choice here. Like, and
but this is Sean should play it for himself. Sean should
yes.
not play it for Sam. I mean, we know that Sean should play it for Sam, but Nina needed to play it for Sam.
Because Nina was
Sean has to protect himself. Like, Sean cannot risk. Like, I just don't, like, in this moment when Sam is begging, I'm like, there's no way Sean plays it for Sam.
Because like, what would be more mortifying is that like they had this opportunity and he plays it for Sam and then he gets taken out. And that's basically what Sean said. He's like, what is he? I'll take you out for, what do you say?
I'll buy you a case of beer.
Something.
I was like, buddy, you got to up that, a case of beer for my life in this game.
Yeah. Like, with 500 G's. Come on.
No, not even close.
Not even close. So Sean plays it for himself. And like, you could probably see like George was like,
Yeah. All of the vigilantes
They're
are
like,
they're like, oh, because this looks like Simon gave them the information. This is exactly, I mean, they didn't know two idols were going to be played, but it went down the way that George orchestrated it to go.
absolutely.
Haley's the only one who's like, okay, well, y'all made your choices.
Oh boy.
And I
Oh
was
boy.
like, this is so embarrassing. I felt, I mean, first off, I was like, I can't believe y'all bumbled this so badly. Two idols. You guys thought y'all made a big play and you did it so wrong. But I also, because we love Nina, I was like, I am mortified for her. Like, this is, I don't want her to be in this position.
No.
Oh, this was rough.
It was really rough.
Really rough.
So it's time to read the votes. George does get 4 votes here. And George does look like he's a little bit nervous,
Yeah,
right?
he's
He's
like,
still a little bit nervous.
Mhm.
But then we see Sam's name pop up, and Sam's face is just like, and then it's another Sam, and another Sam, and another, and another. And a 6th vote on Sam, meaning Sam is out of the game, and his only 2 allies played 2 idols, and he's still taken out of the game. Blunder.
Such a blunder. Oh my gosh. Look, okay, so I obviously didn't watch this with like your kind of fear that George might go. I was watching this like, are y'all idiots? Like, how did you mess this up? This is so absolutely ridiculous. Just child survivor play. Like, I just couldn't. And then all of the vigilantes are laughing at Simon. They were like, look at you. Whoops.
You chose the wrong side.
He like literally Matt was like, I see some sharks. I was like, Matt. Matt is like such like a little villain.
Little villain. I mean, I like new villain Matt for sure.
Matt, yeah.
Like, I mean, he didn't really have that much to say this episode, but I just like him more. He just like his little face smiling, like he's just more interesting.
I just couldn't believe
sure.
So
So Ellen's saying that there was an explanation by Sean of like why he played his idol. No, of course he's gonna play the idol that way.
Yeah.
I do not behoove him for playing his idol that way.
Yeah,
so
Sean has to play his
a
idol.
Strong threat, like getting him out would be him or Sam would be fantastic for people wanting to win individual immunity. So like if I had an idol and I was Sean, I would be playing it 100%, being like, sorry, man, like I have to. It would have been Nina, absolutely would have been the person that you'd have to try to convince here.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And yeah, and I guess
Sean has intel that some votes are going on him, even though that's incorrect intel. He has to ride with that. And unfortunately, Sam did not read body language
over Haley, basically, right? So
yeah, they did. They did not trust Haley, and that did come from Sam because Nina was trusting Haley. Sam was the one who was like, "I don't think so," which is really bold when it's like, you don't think so for your vote? Okay.
I did hear that Simon's handwriting, and I was like,
yes. I mean, first off, I love that Shawnee is analyzing handwriting. Amazing.
I mean, I would be looking at that as well, right? I mean, like okay, let's see, just to be able to see who you can trust, like someone, like what's going on. Like I definitely would be getting to know people's scrawl.
Yeah, I want to know who's voting which way for sure. Yep. They outed Simon. Simon got caught, even though he shouldn't have. I mean, he should have gotten caught, but that's not the way the vote should have gone. But idiots. All right, moving on.
Episode 17, 9 players left in the game. I saw somewhere that they were saying that next week is the last week of this.
No, I think it's like 2
weeks.
2 more weeks.
Okay, that's still a lot of episodes. 2 weeks, really? That's
no, it's like. Wait, this is 18, so 19, 20, 21, and then the next week will be 21, 22, 24, whatever.
Right. That makes sense for sure. So we see Shawnee catching a crab, and you're like, of course she's gonna find out how to catch a crab so she can eat. Because now we feast, she says, because she loves food. And we start hearing about the Shiz, which I love as a name of Shawnee and Liz.
Yep.
But the Shiz, they want to take Jerry far into the game, and Simon, because Simon doesn't have any friends. The Shiz wants to keep these two players in the game, which makes sense.
Yes, this is brilliance. Absolutely. I wrote the Shiz are living their best life. They're out eating crabs, taking baths, and they're making absolute great strategic calls at this point. Yes, you drag Jerry to the end. And even I think Shawnee says, like, he does have a good story. I think she said something like that. And I was like, yeah, oh my God, she's listening to our podcast. And then she's like, Simon, yeah, he didn't have any friends on that jury. And I'm like, yes, of course you drag these people to the end. Good on you.
For sure.
And of course, they acknowledge George can't get the credit. Like, he did not control us this whole game. We can't allow that to happen, which is also true.
Of course. And they want the Shiz to be the final two, that's what we want. We want the Shiz to be the final two. Like, I would love for Liz and Shawnee to be the final two. That would have been an epic season. Having that be the final two, like so good. And they would both be happy with each other winning this game, which is also, it's nice to have that final two.
That's adorable. I don't believe it, but
no,
that's adorable.
Shawnee would win, and I think Liz would be happy just to be sitting next to Shawnee. But yeah, I don't think that Liz would have like that winning instinct to take out Shawnee in the end and like bring like a Matt or a Jerry or something like that to the end. And I don't think she would ever do that. So she'd be happy to lose to Shawnee is basically what was happening here.
Yeah.
So how the heck did Shawnee just like blink and see an idol pop in her eyesight? Like, what?
I just love this. I love this so much. People search and search and they look at a tree and don't find an idol. And she just stretching with her towel is like, oh, boop, there's an idol. Just sees it. She's amazing.
So amazing. I just wonder, I wonder how I would be. Like, I'm usually pretty good at finding things. Like, when someone like drops an earring backing, I'm the person that can like, oh, it's right here. Like, I tend to be good at finding stuff. I wonder if I'd be good at finding idols out here, because Shawnee right now is like an idol whisperer. She just is like,
she says third time's a charm. And I was like, girl, yes. So many people never find an idol. And here you are finding
so many women never find an idol. Like,
yeah.
She's just like,
she's clearly observant. I mean, we see her watching a lot. She watches people, she watches around. And so she obviously, just takes the time to scan, and it pays off. And at this point, I was like, if Shawnee doesn't win this season, it'll be a travesty.
Yeah. It's definitely Shawnee's season, because she now can blind someone now that she has an idol. Like, I love how, like, one thing I really like about Shawnee is that she's really light and happy with her villainousness or like her gameplay. Like, she's a joy to participate in her game. And that's what I just really, really appreciate about Shawnee. And that's why, like, she's been a fan favorite. That's why she's been invited back so many times, that she's just so likable and watchable. So Nina and Sean talk about wasting their idol, but they don't want to expose Haley. Now, what do you think about that? Because I was thinking, I'm like, I would probably have just run over to somebody and been like, this is what's going on.
Because I was worried. I was like, because she did it so perfectly well, and they screwed it up. But at any time they can reveal that she dropped that information. That did concern me. So I was so excited to hear them say, let's not expose her. Let's try to use her, which is a valid way. I mean, you can go either way, expose her or try to use her.
I think I would, if I was in that position, I probably would have used my idol on Sam, but if I didn't, or my ally didn't, I would probably try to put everything onto Haley and make Haley like the enemy, like public enemy number one.
But why though?
Because if Haley's still hidden, right? They like, and if she doesn't now want to maybe work with you moving forward to like try to make another plan, like she you might still be on the chopping block if you're Nina, Simon, and Sean, and you don't have any power of the idol. So I would be trying to like at least get another day in.
Right. With someone who like put an olive branch out for you, right? Like if you and I are playing and I extended you some information, then, or vice versa, so that I can then come to you and say, I'm so sorry, I did not use that. I didn't realize, or whatever, and then be like, so is this potentially like moving forward, like keep this door open, and then try to use them as a number. I don't know. You can go either way.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that being a viable path as well. Absolutely. So George is annoyed by Simon, and he's telling this to Jerry.
Yeah,
I can understand why it's annoying.
Yeah, we're back to the beginning of the season where it's like, just get him out. I can't stand him. I don't want him here. Get him out.
Well, and it's kind of like, he kind of, the olive branch was out. They worked together for a couple of votes. And then immediately he decides to go and vote for George and try to take him out of the game and try to have like some big plan that didn't end up working. And it's just like, I'm trying to work with you, but like, you're just so annoying. Like, so like, you gotta go. I mean, I think I would have to get him to go because eventually it's going to work. Right? No?
I mean, I have to agree with the Shiz. Simon has no friends. He is a goat. You drag to the end. Like, I understand
George.
I understand George is annoyed. But like, he is a powerless person. He can keep trying, but he's going to keep blundering. Strategically, I feel like Simon is useless. So, but I understand just wanting him out. I like Christy's comment. Hey, George. Haley told us to vote this way, but we didn't believe her.
Right.
Like, hey, we want to throw Haley under the bus, but it comes with the information that we just totally bumbled that. That would be funny.
I mean,
if George is like, wait, so, but you knew, and you did, so you didn't, and then you chose not to play the idol.
Maybe they'd be like, I'm gonna take you out because like you're terrible players.
Okay, good to know. Yeah.
So. But Nina wants to now throw Simon under the bus to Liz and George. Do you think that that's a better? Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Well, I think that's.
Go ahead.
That's just a smart move for Nina. Like, right? Nina looks like a fool. Nina looks like she is on the sinking ship, a different ship full of sharks.
Why is she not trying to get off of this?
Well, I think this was like her one, like. Maybe
like, because remember what I was saying? Like, I thought that she was going to rat Haley out before, and like she was going to get like in with George this way and like replace Haley basically, and then Haley was going to go out or something. Like, I really thought that was going to happen, and it's kind of like 180 degrees from that. Like, it's the opposite. Yeah, opposite of that. I don't want Nina to look like a bad player, but she's not making great decisions. She needs to get off her sinking life raft. Like, it's going down, and she has room here to play. She just has to let go of these two guys.
Or at least appear to. I mean, I really did think that, like, okay, this is the way to go. Let them know you have no ties to Simon. Simon can go. I am on that vote. If you guys are talking about Simon, I'm so annoyed with him. Yeah, like, yes, Nina, do this.
Please. Well, Simon's looking for an idol.
As he should.
As he should. So we saw that Shawnee found one. Do you think there's a second one in play, or do you think it's just the one?
I mean, I don't know. I have lost count on. Oh, you're right, because they just played 2.
Because Sean's was found with that was the one that should have had the clue, right?
Yes.
The clue. No, wait. No, the clue one was Benjamin's one, and then it got recirculated.
Yeah. And then Benjamin found the cookie, but there was a different. Who found Simon's cookie?
Shawnee,
and that one already went out went out of the game. It didn't get played.
Right.
I don't know. I was in my head watching this. I was like, no, Shawnee already found it, guys.
Right. That's kind of what I'm thinking, that there's like just going to be one in play right now.
Yeah. I don't know.
Who knows? Like, there could be idols all over the place. Australian Survivor tends to be idol heavy. Yeah. And there's usually either people go home with an idol or they misplay it, which is really funny, or they play it actually perfectly. So I definitely find that it's a little bit interesting to see what happens with these idols, because sometimes I'm like,
How many have we seen played perfectly this season?
Shawnee did it twice, I guess, right? She played one for George. I can remember right now. Did she play a second one for George?
No. I don't even think she had, I don't remember it being, I'll go back into my notes because I think there's only one played correctly this season.
Oh, wait, George didn't need it in the end.
Yeah. Yeah. He didn't actually need
no,
it.
that was the one that George had, though. George had one as well, right? Oh my gosh, I'm not sure.
Yeah, anyway, I'll look it up.
So the Shiz wants Nina or Sean out next, and this is like I think Sean should be out over Nina. I think that Sean has more power potentially. Like he has Simon underneath his like little spell. He has the ability to win immunity. What do you think of the Shiz's assessment here?
Yeah, Shawnee says we got to protect Simon. You know, she's talking about how George really wants Simon out, but she's like, we got to protect Simon. Sean and Nina have more friends in the jury, and I cannot argue that point. That is true. Yes, I agree with what you're saying too. Like if you break it down, Sean first, then Nina. But Sean and Nina are both well loved on the jury.
That's true.
Way more than Simon. So if you're looking at the three, I agree with what Shawnee was saying at this point.
So Antonio is saying that Sean's idol was a pre-merge idol, only Nina's was put back into the game. All right.
Okay, copy that.
I agree with that. So we see George, Haley, Liz, and Shawnee in the hammock, and George doesn't want Simon to go, wants Simon to go, and obviously the Shiz doesn't really want that to happen. So we next see George telling Jerry that the girls don't want to vote out Simon. Is this where we see them bathing?
I have that this is where the Shiz is eating rice secretly.
Oh, yes, Shawnee and Liz sneaking food. You're correct. Just read my notes. I don't know where we are.
Yeah, this is another great Taurus moment, but it's also such a good villain moment of like, I'm going to look this way, you're going to look this way, and we're just going to eat until someone walks up. And that is just brilliant. I love it so much.
It was like super villainous, and like there'd be some people that would do that. I'd be like, but like the people that I like when Tyson and Jervis were like stealing coconuts, I was like, I love this. But some people like, that's so not right. And I'm just like, I love them. They could do it.
There's nothing fair on these shows.
Yeah. Like Chappies was another person, right?
Oh my God, Chappies! No, that was too much. That was too much, Chappies. Oh my gosh. I mean, like to an extent, like sit at the bowl, scooping up rice until someone comes. Chappies was making full course meals. Oh no, that was too much.
That unfair, Sarah?
I mean, it's not, fair is not it. It's just, that was ridiculous. He was obviously going to get caught. I think that's another thing. Like, don't get caught, right?
No, you can't.
Because that's jury management. If you get caught, you may not get votes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, do it. Don't get caught. Okay, but somewhere in here, question for you, because somewhere in here, so they're eating rice, and then we see George walk up, and the edit on George is like an unhinged psycho George edit this episode. But we see him just like listening to them. And then he's like, the Shiz.
Yeah, because I think that he overheard them say, can't take the villain out of the Shiz or something like that's what was said before. I couldn't tell if he had heard it right then or not. But he does walk up after, and then you see him having this epiphany, like, when did the Spice Girls become the Shiz? And so I think it must have been in and around that moment, or they kind of edited it that way.
Yeah, I actually rewound it back, and I couldn't hear her say this Shiz, but I was like, I don't care. I love that they're editing it. Like he went, what?
I mean,
I overheard the Shiz, and like his downward spiral at this point.
But I do understand this being a spiral, because if like my two closest allies have a better, closer relationship with each other than with me, that means that I'm going to be the third. Like, I'm going to be voted out before the two of them. Or even if it was, if he had overheard Jerry and Matt saying the same thing, like, oh, you're going to win that last immunity and then you're going to take out George. And, like if he heard that, he'd probably be like, oh, time to take out Matt, so like, I definitely understand him feeling threatened by a relationship that's stronger. But yeah, it was really funny seeing him become unhinged here.
Yeah, we see him walking at night.
Oh.
He's worried about his place in the alliance. I don't know if all this is accurate, but the edit like cracked me up because it did look like he was like, what?
And he's like feeling left out. They're leaving Scary out. It's slightly sad though. You're like, no, it's not sad.
No, honestly, it's not. Like, I agree with you. If you're in a 3-person alliance and the other 2 have a name, you in trouble. And so I completely understand what he's doing at this point, but I'm surprised that it was so shocking to him.
I think
he did not see this coming, and that surprised me.
I think it's because, like, as much as, like, he can be a jerk or he can be insensitive, like, I also think that he probably when he was younger, he probably wasn't great at making friends or feeling part of a group or anything like that. This is why I'm getting a little sad for a little bit, George, right? And so I think that he felt that he found his people and he felt like he was safe with them, and that, like, with making compromises for these 2 people. And like, I think he really did want oh my God, I'm crying for George.
Oh my God, stop
I'm crying over the young George that probably had no friends, and like,
you guys,
he had friends with Shawnee and Liz and the Spice Girls, and now they left him out, and he's like now reliving all of his like tormented youth. Like that.
Yeah, no, I'm never gonna cry like this, but
you'll never cry. I know.
I do know he's a Pisces moon, so I absolutely felt that he was in pain. I get that he feels that pain very deeply. I mean, strategically, he has a whole other final 3 with Jerry and Matt. Like, you have to understand it strategically, and he probably does understand it strategically, but in the moment it hurt because he just didn't see it coming. He was too close. He was too in with the Spice Girls to see. And this is when, like, we were talking about, like, who cuddles in together. Shawnee and Liz do everything together. So the fact that he was so in it that he missed this,
I think it's the name. Naming there. Like, I think he like was fine with them. Like, they're 2 women that get along together. They've been working together since the beginning of the game. They've been in this threesome alliance. They're bringing people into the Spice Girls, but they have a name. That's like it's the name. It's that made it real that like they have something that doesn't include him. And
that's
so
true.
I think that it just like all the other times where they're together, he's probably like that whole Memento. It was like everything's coming back to him about like how close they actually are and how he's not a part of it. And so it was the name though, I think, that really set him off for Georgie leaving Scary out. So I thought they were going to go to a reward challenge, but nope, they go drink to immunity. I had to like scribble out immunity. I was like,
same.
Why? I don't know why they do things they do, but I so was it an eventful tribal, Simon asked Jonathan. He's such a shit stir.
Wait, oh really? I don't even remember this. I didn't write it down.
Well,
but Jonathan is a shit stir.
He's such a shit stir. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I think you know what's going to be happening, and you might screw this up. Like, I really sometimes think he's going to screw up some of these big plans that are going to happen. Yeah. Because, like, having to have your cover story on all the time and, like, having so many questions and, like, having to answer the way that you're supposed to answer, like, not everybody's that great at it. And so sometimes he needs to, like, I think, stop a little bit because I'm like, oh, my God, you're going to ruin this plan.
Yeah. I don't even understand why we talk about tribal on the mat of playing a challenge.
True.
But he does. Jonathan wants to poke that bear.
Pokes that bear. So why did I write hungry and missing your family? Oh, it's just Sean. And so I guess he's just talking about like people's motivations here. Sean says he's here to win.
Right. I thought it was going to be a reward with something family oriented.
Right? That's what I was like, oh, maybe it's going to be like both family and like immunity and reward or something like that.
Yeah.
Like it's your family. I don't know. After you win.
No.
It's going to be 3 stages, this immunity. So you, first stage is you have to land 3 sandbags. The first 6 to land their 3 sandbags will be moving on to throwing these sandbags to knock off these rungs of a ladder. And then the last one, I didn't really understand the mechanics of the last one, but there were some spinning discs that they had to stack up. And every single round we're losing some people. So the first stage, the first 6 people that get 3 on the platform was Simon, Jerry, Matt, Liz, Sean, and Haley.
Oh, Matt. Oh, I was like,
somebody?
6. I only have 5. I missed Matt.
So they're going to be moving on to knocking down the rings.
I was like, let's go, Haley.
Yeah. Haley and Liz were the only 2 women that were moving on here. So who was out? Just Nina, George, and Shawnee were out the first round.
I was rooting for Nina as well, and she just did horribly.
Oh, Nina needs. I need Nina to do something. I need her. Yeah. I don't want her to have a game because I was so excited by her game first season, and it's not working. It's not working out in the way that I like it.
No, I agree.
Yeah, like I have better plans for her. Like, oh, is she gonna do this? And like, she's not gonna do that.
How about that now? Show up now. No,
no. And then on the tribal council, oh boy. Okay, so the next stage where they're knocking off the rungs, Haley, Sean, and Simon were able to do this first. So your girl Haley does make it through to the final round here, where they.
I'm only cheering for Haley because it's like Sean and Simon. It's like, Haley.
Of course, out of the people that were there, maybe I'd choose, like maybe Liz. I would have been excited for.
Exactly.
Actually anybody.
I was rooting for more people is what I'm trying to say. But then Haley's the only one that kept making it through. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I would prefer Haley to win over Sean or Simon. 100%. So with the spinning disc things where they had to keep on stacking them, did they have to do it in a particular order? Or
I thought they did. I thought they had to because they're picking them up in an order. So I thought you pick that one up and it now becomes the bottom. But I saw Simon move things around. So maybe you could have changed it up.
Who was controlling the spin? Because they
were the rope.
Oh, okay. There was a rope. Okay.
When they pulled the rope, it spun. But when they got there and stopped, it stopped spinning.
Gotcha. Okay. I understand now. I just found it strange. I guess when it was stacked on the other side, they just wanted to take the easiest one, which was whatever's on top, and so that's why they built it that way. But then if it fell, then they can kind of restack it in whatever way they want, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that was key, was to rearrange them and not take it in the order that they had placed them behind you. Now, as we're getting into this last bit here, did you hear George complaining about the alpha males?
Yep. 2 alpha males in the finals again. It's just going to keep on happening.
But George, you already told us they don't win this game, so they're not a threat, right?
Agreed. But I think it's what he's alluding to is that it will take it away from them winning the immunities. I think that's what he was more so saying, is that when these 2 guys are here, there's no chances us winning immunity.
But they don't win the game. So what's the threat here? They're not winning the game, so it's okay.
But they might not win the game, but they might get there and you might not get there. And I think that's the threat that he's talking about.
Yeah. So alpha males are threatening. Okay. Just checking.
Threatening to win if they're sitting in the final seat, maybe not, but threatening to keep you out of the game or get you out of the game. Yes.
Yeah. He just changes his story depending on who he wants out.
That's also true. So yes, George is telling Jerry to prioritize Simon and Sean. What doesn't make sense. George telling Jerry to prioritize Simon and Sean. I guess to getting them out. Alpha male is getting them out. Yes, because obviously the Shiz they want to keep Simon.
Right. And he's really trying to work on Jerry here to be like, we can't go with the girls. We have to get Simon and Sean out. Mm-hmm. He's been leaning towards keeping Nina anyway. It seemed like. in conversations.
So Antonio here is saying that George doesn't have any chance of winning immunity with or without alpha males. I don't
Thank
know if
you.
that's
Thank you,
true.
Antonio. It does
He
not
did
matter.
win the KFC, okay? He did win the KFC, so there's a potential that he could have won that on his own.
Look, if the alpha males aren't there, Haley and Liz are going to win everything. Like, his shoulders are only getting him so far.
Yes, exactly, Shafika, unless KFC is involved.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
So how were you happy with the winner here?
Well, okay. So no, like Haley was taking her time and I was like, this is my girl right here. She's got this. Because even though we're talking about like, oh, alpha males, like this this is one of those that alpha males don't necessarily win. This doesn't take brute strength. And I actually thought Haley thinking things through and taking her time was going to lend itself to a win. And Simon and Sean, like we do see Sean lose some, but Simon, I'm sorry,
The balance whisper, like
he was so good on this. And the same thing with the one he just won before this with the stacking of the letters. This does not take brute strength, and he is winning challenges that take a little bit more finesse. So first off, good job. But this actually, I wrote how question mark. I didn't understand how he pulled this off over Haley. But at this moment, I thought, you know what, guys, Simon can win every single immunity from here to the end of the game, and he will still sit at the end as a 0 vote finalist. So it does not matter.
Oh, ouch. Sarah.
And I say that with love, Simon, but don't y'all worry.
Somebody. Clip this.
Don't even worry.
Oh boy. So Simon says the beast is here to play. I guess you didn't hear your encouraging words here.
Look,
back-to-back immunity wins.
Keep winning them, Simon. I'm very proud of you. And that'll be that.
So back at camp, we got Nina and Sean looking for an idol, of course. And I'm like, too late, guys.
Oh, but the Vigilantes meet first.
Oh, I didn't write it down.
Okay, Vigilantes meet first, and they say 3 on Nina, 3 on Sean. That leaves Simon in the middle, and whoever he votes for will go home. But then we cut to George's face where he's like,
I don't want him to be the deciding vote here.
Yep, that's not going to work for him.
Instead, let's threaten him.
Always better.
Threaten him, because George wants to keep Nina in this game. And of course, Simon wants to make this decision. So basically, he's like, vote for Sean, and we'll know that you're working with us. Otherwise, you'll be out next, and walks away.
Yeah. Well, this was funny because like this is a point when I think Simon he didn't even care. He was just like, can I get back in with you guys? Like, what do I do? And they're like, oh, it seems like you might be the swing vote. And George is like, no, let me tell you how it is.
Yeah.
You can get back in if you vote Sean out. Otherwise, you're next to go.
Yeah. If you lose immunity, you're gone. Yeah.
I was like, George with that jury management, just killing it.
I mean, there's no way Simon, no matter what, would ever vote for George. I just don't think he would ever. Like, regardless of how George has treated him, I don't think.
Oh my God. I mean, he shouldn't. I hope he doesn't. If Simon votes for George, I'll be like, where's your backbone, sir? What happened?
Ooh, ouch. So George's mind is racing, and he's worried about like everything. He's worried about like just how this vote is going to go down, and worried about the Shiz, and he's thinking that maybe it's time to strike at Shawnee first, because if the Shiz are coming together and they're working together, they will take him out soon. And he is thinking that maybe he needs to use these numbers right now to take Shawnee out before she takes him out. So he asked Jerry, and Jerry says, wait, tonight's not the night.
So leading up to that, what you're just saying, we see George update the Shiz with his demands upon Simon. So they have the information that, you know, he has like boldly told Simon, you got to do this or you're out of here. And so as this edit is building, because we're getting this incredible unhinged George edit here that I wrote in all caps, the best. But we're also seeing like Shawnee and Liz have the information that George is like, where George is. And then, so as he's unhinged, the Shiz go to take another one of their beautiful baths, and they say, like, we know we have to take George out. And Shawnee literally says, we got to take him out at 8. And I was like, oh my God, like, I'm so disappointed to hear her say that.
Do you think she should have said tonight?
Yes. Yeah, because I felt like we were building, again, it's all edit, but I'm being spoon-fed this build, and George is moving. He's on the path. And I hate to turn everything to astrology, guys. I literally get comments to tell me to shut it down, but I don't care.
It's part of like how you analyze things.
It is. And George is a beautiful example of cardinal and mutable energy. They initiate and then they can be flexible and change. And our beloved Taurus do not like to change. It is called fixed energy. They love to stick to a plan. They are our follow through people. They do not want to adapt. And this is a prime moment where something has to happen and they know it, but they're going to wait till the very last moment to take that. And George is not. He's going to strike when the iron is hot. And it just, because I want Shawnee to win this season, I was a little irritated with it. Yes. But I got to give all the props to George and to Haley, because after what you just said, he then goes to Haley.
Yeah, goes to Haley. And they talk about this being a possibility. And Haley's like, that could be fun. And George is like, is that too much fun? Is that too? One of them said, is it too much fun? And I'm like, it's fun, guys, but it's so heartbreaking. But I understand that this is kind of like, it's kind of fun for you guys playing the game. Oh, yeah. As a viewer, I'm like, this is not fun for us. Do you want to do it? Is the question that we're left with in this conversation.
I loved that Jerry was like, George, give us another one more, not tonight. You know, I was like, okay, Jerry, this is a good like sound of reason, because it might be a little too early.
I thought that he was just going to like, okay, he's going to retreat. He's just going to take out Sean, and it would have just been fine. And maybe he would still want to take out Shawnee like a little bit later, but like we would be in a little bit of a war at 8. You know what I mean? Or around that time. You know what I mean?
8's too late. It needed to be
both of them, but like, you know what I mean? Like if he had gone for Sean, like then the war might have happened the next round, you know?
Because what are we at this episode?
It's next episode. It's next vote.
Oh, that was only one more?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was next.
Oh, no. I thought they meant at 8. Wait, what?
We're 9 people right now.
Oh.
It's next vote.
Okay, well, so then I can't feel I was a little more mad because I thought that was 2 votes away. And I was like, Shawnee, 2?
No,
that's too late. It's just the next vote.
It was basically like if he'd gone along with Jerry and just waited, then he would have been out next for sure.
Yeah. All right. Then I thought Jerry was right. Let's wait one more vote because I was miscounting. Okay. All right.
Because it's like if there's 5 solid vigilantes, Simon, and then Nina and Sean. And or is it 6?
No, there's 6 vigilantes.
Simon is number 7, and then the 2 of them.
Sean and Nina.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 9 people. That changes the way I feel, because I was worried that this was 1 too early for George. Mm-hmm. And that Shawnee would be too late. That it was, but okay. Interesting. All right. Well, this is one of the reasons we love George and Haley, though, because Haley's like,
let's do it right now.
Who cares? Let's go. I want to play.
Yeah. Like,
oh, she's so fun.
They're both really fun. I know like George can be like kind of nasty sometimes, but like he's willing to just give it a go. Like, like he wants to make a good TV show. And like, as much as like, I don't want this to be the plan that goes through.
Right.
Like, I was just like, It's interesting seeing people at least try to play, right? And we also
Exactly.
know Shawnee can be quite perceptive. We
Yeah.
know that Shawnee just found this idol. I'm like, oh my goodness, to see if George goes and makes this whole big plan. He doesn't know about this idol. She uses it and like pandemonium happens back at camp. Like it would be so, so amazing. So I was just like nervous, obviously, for what could happen, but like very, very excited for the fact that like something big was going to be happening this episode. The pitch
Yeah.
came back again.
I think so I mean, I'm so excited. Like, okay, I wanted Shawnee to win this season.
Yeah.
And then I get very excited that George and Haley are like, let's play Survivor.
Yeah.
But then we see George just like goes to work. If he's got an okay from Haley, he's like back to Jerry. Then he sends Jerry to Matt. Then we see George go to Nina. Like George is like,
how did Shawnee not see him running around like this? Because he wasn't.
She did.
Like, but remember when who was running around and she got the inkling that something was happening? I can't remember. It happened early on in the season, and she just knew right away that the plan was changed and like that she needed to use the idol on or whatever. She needed to do something, and so she's usually notices these things to realize that like something's happening. So I thought that he definitely was doing a little bit too much in front of her.
And that's what so in my excitement, I was like, okay, now our girl is about to do something. And I genuinely was waiting for Shawnee's attack.
Yeah.
I thought because they show us her watching. Again, she's a really good observer. My note is Shawnee sensing something ? Because that's what it seemed like. And George
Shawnee is noticing is what I said.
Yeah. George was pulling people off. Like he didn't pull everybody off. He did a good job getting Jerry to go get Matt, but like she still saw that. She saw George talk to Jerry and then Jerry go talk to Matt. Like she saw all of this. And I really thought, okay, girl, you know something's up. Let's see what you can do.
Something's up. Even George telling Nina the plan. I'm just like, George, you're being messy. I was like, you're being so messy.
Oh, Nina, you listen to George? Oh, you trust him? What?
I mean, she has nothing at this point. She's kind of at their mercy, right? Exactly. Like they don't have any idols. Like if he has been kind of talking to her a little bit, right? He hasn't been feeding her false information when they've had direct conversations. Right. He has said many times, like, I don't want it to be you. I want you to be here. So I think that there has been a level of trust. And this was kind of like her throwing out like a parachute here, being like, okay, I'm going to see if I can trust this information. I'll go with what you said. She's like, can I trust you? Like, I don't know. You got to give it a go. Like, she really didn't have any power here to be able to do anything unless she went to Shawnee and been like, hey, this is what's happening. And like, let's try to form an attack and take him out. Like that could have been something that she could do. But I think she was just too nervous to be able to like make such a bold counter.
Yeah, no, I honestly, if George is like, vote this way and she has any opportunity to not, her other option was voting for Sean, which she's been working with him. So go vote for Shawnee.
See what happens.
So if Shawnee doesn't go, she's mad at you. Oh, well, you're already not in a great spot.
And then before the commercial break, you see Shawnee say, is it too easy tonight? And
yes.
I'm like, bah! I'm like, oh my God, 16-minute tribal. I'm so nervous. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm very nervous.
Like I was waiting.
I watched this one on the plane yesterday, and I was like, I'm just sitting in the back. I'm like, have my notes, and I'm like listening and watching the whole thing. And I'm like, please, nobody need me for anything right now because like I just need to like.
I'm not available.
No, I wasn't available. Like, I just was like shut off for an hour. I'm like, an hour and 7 minutes. Okay, I could be. I don't need to be needed right now. So I was really, really nervous though because. I didn't want the Spice Girls to fall apart with like the idol play. Like that would just be so like, it'd be dramatic and entertaining, obviously, but like I'd feel like really bad. And then I also didn't want Shawnee to go home. I just like all the things that were gonna happen. Like I was very nervous for. But we're getting the tribal.
Yeah.
And I was like, why is Sean asking Nina what George said to her? I was like, I'm like, Sean, like, if something's going on, that's good for you, you gotta not tip anybody off that something might be going on, or you could completely foil the plan. You ding dong.
Right. Yeah, like, I understand you wanna know. He has no concept if it's good or bad for him. He has
Right.
no idea. But, like, the 2 of you all whispering is not what we need right now. I'm glad that Nina shut it down and was like, "No."
I'll tell you later.
'Cause I was like, "Please stop. Do not start whispering."
Well, so then Nina is doing some face acting with like, I can't really raise my eyebrow that well, but like it's like to Sam and the jury. I'm like, and then she's like, I'm like,
Nina couldn't stop
Nina.
smiling. She could not stop smiling. She was so giddy in this tribal, and I was like, "Girl, get your face better." Oh my gosh.
Please. No eyebrows, like no like winking, no smiling. Like you need to look like you think that you're going home or your ally is going home and that
Yeah.
you're on a sinking ship. Like no
She's
smiles, no winks.
she's literally like, and then Jonathan asked her, she's like, "Yeah, no, I'm in a lot of trouble."
It's so
Yes.
Nina. Oh my god! But George is like talking about like he likes cutting deals. And he likes making deals, and so he's
The deal. I was very impressed with this. I mean, it's not a surprise to be impressed with George at a tribal, but the way that he was like, there was the deal after immunity that was, was struck or whatever, and I'm going to follow through. And so it's so vague that you don't know which deal that might be. It's just the deal.
the deal.
And, Simon's like, "Yeah, I know the deal." Shawnee's like, "Yeah, I know the deal." And it's like, nope, these are 2 different deals.
2 different deals.
Yep.
And like so, just like Mezzanine 77 saying here, like Nina was ruining with smiling and giddiness. It was killing me because I'm like, Shawnee is so perceptive.
Yeah.
So if the people that shouldn't be this smiley, and we're talking about these deals that are happening, like man, like you might take out your closest ally here by all your smiles and your giddiness. Please, please, please. So when George does say, if I'm making it to the end, please vote for me. Do you appreciate his plea here?
No, give me a break. I mean, it's entertaining, it's funny, but this is not working for you.
So we hear that Shawnee is worried about the 3-3 vote. Like we've heard this like a bit, and like I understand being worried about the 3-3 vote because that means that anybody can jump over, change the numbers. Like you have enough people to be able to do stuff. And so I was just like really nervous about this whole thing, how it's going down. How do you feel about the editor is really loving the cracking necks down with George? Like twice, I think they had him like
Yeah.
cracking his neck.
Yeah, they were really making him seem like a straight up psycho in this edit. I mean, I was pretty sure that this was gonna not be good for Shawnee, which disappointed me. But I also had like a little glimmer of hope, like waiting for her to figure something out because we've just seen her like almost be magical. And so I just kept waiting to see what Shawnee was going to do. But what we hear from her is like, now's too soon to make, a move out of this alliance. You won't necessarily make it to the end, which is a decent point. But at the same time, it's like, no, now is not too soon, obviously. And George says something about like, you just have to take that opportunity. And Sean says, you got to get on before they get you, that's the nugget. I'm like,
I would be, if someone says that, I'd be like, wait, I was also thinking about getting George next round. Like, maybe I need to, I would just be worried about like, I think I would be like, if I had a pit in my stomach, if I'm worried about a 3-3 split, if I'm thinking about taking out George now, if I'm seeing people running around, if it's the vote's too easy, like, and I have an idol, I would just be like, I'm not sure what's going on here. Something feels off. I'm just going to play this for myself. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, it's a real interesting blend of like being too comfortable in your alliance, even though something's off. I don't think she ever realized it was her though. Like even though she knew something was off, George has been her shield. George was the target last week. What would have told her play your idol on you, because that's really, at this point, I was like, the only thing she can do is play her idol, because getting up and rallying a complete flip on George would be,
No, I should have to just play her idol, because like
yeah,
just the fact that things were feeling off, I think she would have to just feel to play it on herself or on Liz, I guess. But like self-preservation played on herself, you know?
yeah,
That was her intuition talking to her, right? Like
I
something's
think
off.
so.
Like I
Yeah, I
and
just was worried.
she does say early in the episode, and like obviously they clipped this for us, and she might not have noticed that she said it, but like, you know, she said, me and Liz are controlling this tribe. Like we're in control here. And
Yeah, and it's like, oh no, was she super comfortable that I mean, I thought she really was, except that George kind of did start to take control, and I wonder if she didn't fully feel that.
I know, I guess maybe the last time when they were having conflict on who to keep and who to save,
He
he
compromised.
compromised. And so
And she's
maybe
just been in agreement with everything since, or I don't know. I was questioning. I was like, I know she knows something's off, but what would tell her it's her, you
well,
know?
who else would it be?
George.
Oh, you think that the funny business was that like everybody was rallying around like getting George out
Yeah, I mean,
and
she
not telling her?
more than likely is not gonna be looped into any sort of play like that, and so she thinks of him as a shield in front of her.
Or-
If she thought things felt off, she might have thought, "Uh-oh, I might be losing George tonight."
Right.
But
And I'm not
there's
playing an idol on him
yeah,
for a
but
third
at
time kind
this
of thing,
point,
or
I'm
whatever.
not, because I'm gonna get George out next week is what she's thinking, or next episode.
Right.
So yeah, that's where I was like, I just don't think she has the info to play, but you know, she doesn't play an idol.
But when George goes to vote, he does say thank you for the social skills, Shawnee.
I was
And she
like,
did
yeah,
help him a little bit.
yeah, she really did.
He improved his game big time.
Yeah.
And so he sits back down and he winks at the jury, because it's going to be 5 votes. Well, did they do all of hers first? No, I wrote them down
No,
for
it was Nina, then
Nina.
Sean, then
Oh, I didn't
Nina,
write that
Nina.
down.
So Nina had 3. If Shawnee had played an idol, Nina would have gone. That would have been interesting.
Mm,
But then it was Shawnee.
yeah,
And
5
she's like,
Shawnees.
oh. She was like, oh, it was me.
Ooh.
Okay.
She really is gracious when she
Oh my
gets
God,
these
she's such a
votes.
class act, honestly. Like, she's the best villain. Like, the least villain, kind of.
She's the best villain. I was really crushed to see her go.
I
She
was surprised by Liz's behavior. Were you surprised by Liz?
her face, like her piss face. You were
I thought
surprised?
she was gonna like get up and riot.
No, I mean, I thought that she was just like a death stare.
Yeah, I mean, we know that we're familiar with her face, which definitely she did. But maybe I guess she was just too shocked. And we'll see the wrath later. But we know Liz's wrath. We know it's there.
We know it's there. I'm worried about this wrath. I mean, George is convinced that she will have nowhere to go and will come back to the Vigilantes. I'm not sure what Liz can do, but Shawnee did say that she trained Liz well, and so she is obviously going to be rooting for Liz to get to the end of this game. So, how do you think that Liz can fare? Do you think that Shawnee has trained her well?
No, I don't think she's trained her well, but I do think Liz has learned quite a bit from Shawnee, and she is in a better place than Liz was at the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
But let us not forget that Liz and Nina have a decent relationship. Liz has already built a bit of a relationship with other people. So when George was like, Liz will never defect to the other side, I was like, that's
Maybe
a little short-sighted, but
yeah.
I think he was just saying that to get his way. I don't know that he necessarily, I don't know if he actually believed that. He just thought, I'll cross that bridge when I get there. But yeah, no, I absolutely think that Liz will get George back.
Yeah, I think Liz will get her revenge for sure. But
And
hopefully
isn't that fascinating?
that
I mean, who saw that coming?
I mean, I definitely would not be surprised if Liz takes the revenge out on George, because we do see in the next episode him wearing her outfits and kind of
Oh, George.
like stomping on her grave. Like, I think he's trying to make light of it because like he felt bad, but like it was not the way to go. Ellen here is saying that there's a hashtag going around, put your Crocs out for Shawnee.
What does that mean?
No, her Crocs, like she always wore Crocs, so that was her shoe.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she wears Crocs.
I guess I missed it.
I think that's pretty funny.
That's cute. That's very cute. Yes, absolutely. It's devastating to lose Shawnee. I am gutted. She should have won. I loved her so much. I'm so excited. I didn't see her other 2 seasons. I'm so excited to have watched her. She exited beautifully. I just think she's a fun person. But her exit does give us the opening for some juicy stuff.
Or you
with
just take out all
Liz.
the big players and like then we get stuck with like Sean and like Nina and Simon running the show.
It's gonna be a Jerry and Matt final 2, guys.
It might be. It might
Look,
be.
I have not forgotten that foreshadowing. It is
It really actually
very
might
possible.
be. I don't know if I can handle that. 2
Hey,
heroes.
they're both on my team, so I'll
No,
take it.
but I think I'll still get points. I think I'll beat you by points still.
Look, Simon is raking me up some points. I'm still very far behind you. We'll do points in a second. But yeah, no, I think that this can be fun because everyone's wanting to get George out. And if Liz is like rallying the troops, like I would have never called Liz being in charge of getting George out. I mean, it's still gonna be hard.
Well,
to
we
get
do
George
see
out.
Haley kind of excited to pulling people together.
She does reveal some info we see in the preview.
Yeah, that's about the $60,000, and I'm wondering if this is going to get back to, or, like, I'm just wondering how it's going to play out because I know that yes, George is a huge threat, but Matt and Jerry do have this final 3 kind of deal with George, and so they might take some of this information because at least with George, they are part of the plans. They are the ones calling the shots, or at least making these decisions. If Haley takes control and gets George out, like they're not working that well with Haley. And so I could see them wanting to still protect George or giving that information because they're in a better position with George in the game, I think. So,
yeah, and they should stick with George. That 3 should stay solid. It just, Liz should jump over. I mean, Haley can pick. It looks like she's revealing information, but maybe she blames it on Liz and like Liz got pissed and she told, and I'm really with you, George. Like, I don't know. Haley could probably go either way. But numbers wise, like Liz, Haley, Nina, Sean, is that it? 4 to 3? No, there's 8.
George. Did you say him?
Oh, no, that's 3. George, Matt, and Jerry are 3.
And then Nina.
Well,
no, we're at 8 now, though, right? Did you say? Yeah.
Yeah. So Nina,
Sean,
Haley, Sean, Liz.
Mm-hmm.
Who am I missing?
Oh boy, that person can't be winning then.
Oh
maybe that's it. Wait, Nina, Sean,
7.
Haley.
Oh, Simon.
Liz. Oh, not winning. Not winning. Not winning.
Literally can't.
Not winning. Not
Simon.
winning. Not winning. Not winning.
Anyway, that's 5 versus 3. It could be 5 versus 3, but wow, my bad.
Hi, Jojo. Yes, if I can't have $500,000, I'd want my closest friend to have $500,000. Yes,
that's
Shawnee.
So nice of you.
Very nice. And she would take care of you to go for some fabulous trips and eat some fabulous food. And yes, well,
I don't agree.
This was a very, very sad episode. As much as it was a great move,
but it was good gameplay.
Shawnee say in some not exit, but I think in her jury villa, that she was planning on taking him out next. And so she's like, if it was George, I'm going to be pissed. Absolutely. I saved him. But she's like, but I was coming for him next. And so he did get her before she got him.
Exactly.
And she has to respect that too, a little bit. You know what I mean? The fact that like he was preemptively made the move before she was going to do it.
Yes. I think of all people, she's going to respect the game. She was going to do it next. That's the danger, right, with playing with the devil. She chose him as her shield, and you can get burned. And you know, it was just one vote ahead. I wish she had not been as much of a Taurus. I wish she had preemptively gotten him. That would have been amazing, but she didn't. And I have to respect the game. I have to respect the game move that George did.
Yeah, I do too.
But if Liz goes out before George, Liz is going to take the information that he was parading around in her clothes and he was insensitive, and then he's lost both of their votes. If she doesn't get that information, or if George ends up in jury, and it doesn't matter, you know, like she'll respect his game move, I think. You know?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely going to be how it parades out. I mean, they could have been showing it as like it looked bad, but like maybe it actually is better received than the. I don't know.
Not from Liz. Maybe everybody else, but not from Liz. Yeah.
This was, I needed to talk about these episodes. And boy, did we talk. I'm actually very nervous for the next one. I'm going to be nervous for all of them now because like it's getting to the point where you're going to have to take out all these huge people. And I don't want any of them to go. I didn't want Shawnee to go. I know it has to happen, but I didn't want her to go. Don't want Haley to go. I don't want George to go. I don't want Liz to go.
I was like, it's really just George and Haley though, right?
Yeah.
Like you want Liz, Sean can go.
Sean can go. Nina, I don't want her to go, but I just, but like, I want her just to be playing a little bit harder.
Yeah, I would like Nina to get in it a little bit better because, I don't want her to go. But at this point, I'm like, if she goes, you know, unfortunately, what has she done? Sean can go. Haley needs to stay. No, honestly, you know, I love Haley, but like she can go. She doesn't need to win the season. I don't. No. I'll be sad when she goes, but I will completely understand the move.
Absolutely. I guess the reason why, I know you're like gonna roll your eyes, but the reason why I don't want George to go is because like he's just been playing so well and so hard. I know that he has his issues with like how he speaks to people and like his social game, but like he's been really playing the game hard. And I think this season's been a lot about like the moves that he's made, the way that he's been able to be so resilient. Like he's coming in as one of the biggest targets in the game and he's been able to last this long. Like I was really devastated to see his game just be out because the fact that like he's been just playing so hard for so long, and I just don't know if everybody's going to be playing as hard as he would in the end game. So that's one of the reasons why I really want him to stay here, but I can also very easily see them taking him out because they can.
Right. Well, he didn't win before, so it's different with him and Haley. Like if he can get himself to the end, which he's doing a dang good job of, like yes, do it. Like he has something to prove. Like I'm not rooting to get George out at all. I would love to see actually if he can get votes at the end. I am here for seeing if that's possible. Because even if you don't like him, even if he was mean to you and said things to you that really pissed you off, it is impressive how he has stayed, not only stayed in the game, but like really been in charge. Like really
like watching it back, if he's not the winner, like the winner's gonna be like, oh man, this season's about George. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like at this point, unless wild things happen in these next couple weeks, like it's really the season of George's game.
But his original season was about him too.
That's true. It's true. It could be about how he falls at the end. So Ellen's saying that
there's only 2
Sunday, Monday episodes. Okay, so that's good. That's helpful.
So that's how they're going to drag it out 3 weeks then.
Okay.
They're going to go down to 2.
All right. 3. Yeah, like, I gave that schedule before and I remember being longer but then I saw someone else saying that's ending next week and I was like, really? That seems sooner than I thought.
It's not next week.
It's probably like 3 weeks then from now.
3 weeks would be the end of this month. so it's done by April. That makes sense, which is great because I'm going out of town. So we need to wrap this up before
Yeah, let's wrap this up. I mean, I'm enjoying it.
Oh,
I think it's the best season I've ever seen of Survivor up until this point. Like,
I mean,
it's been like maybe one dud episode, maybe.
yeah,
And it wasn't even that bad. Like, I don't remember which one that was, but like,
right.
they've all been
We were
pretty,
like, whatever, we
great.
could take it or leave it. No,
Right.
this has been an absolutely incredible season. One of the tops for sure. It's probably my favorite. Yeah. This season is like far superior to so many seasons of all sorts of shows.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like,
Like, all
I'm
of them.
riveted. Like, the fact that I care so much about people going home, it's like, it's
Right?
wild to me. People are like, why do you care about, like, reality TV? I'm like, because it makes me feel things. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so in it, and I appreciate that. So this season's phenomenal, and I can't wait to talk about the next episode with you tomorrow.
All right, tomorrow. Wait, I didn't do your Canadian accent very well. Tomorrow.
Is
Say
that how I say
tomorrow.
tomorrow?
Say it. Say it.
Tomorrow.
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 Tomorrow I'm going to we're gonna do whatever this episode 18 on Nerdtainment, same time, 3 p.m. Pacific. So it'll be before Survivor US, you guys.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Well, Sarah, thank you for being here to chat, and everybody here in the chat chatting with us about these last 2 episodes and being able to be cathartic with us here about, her losing our queen Shawnee from the game. Thank you so much. Pulling up points. We could do points tomorrow after we finish the week, unless you have them.
Oh yeah, I do have them, but we can do them tomorrow.
Yeah, do them tomorrow for the whole week. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
I mean, I have so many accents in me. Okay.
Yes.
So
All righty. Good day, mate.
Good day, mate. So we'll see y'all tomorrow. And I'm actually going to go live with JoJo right now to talk about the premiere episode of Survivor US. So if you want to join us for a little chat over there, we'll talk a little bit more about our experience at Bryson Wendell Presents here in Toronto last week as well. We will be going live pretty much right now. So make sure you subscribe to both of our channels, like this video, and leave us a farewell to Shawnee. Tell us your favorite Shawnee line in the comments below, your favorite Shawnee moment, just all about Shawnee. Give Shawnee all the credit that she deserves.
Queen.
I will see you again tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye. Ciao, everybody.
Ciao.